The reality is, when the Trump administration sent Abrego Garcia to El Salvador, they did not actually have any reason for doing so. Because in 2019, an immigration judge granted him a legal status that let him live and work in the country legally. 57 days ago, the Supreme Court ruled, without dissent, by the way, that Abrego Garcia's removal to El Salvador was in fact illegal. And the court ordered the Trump administration to facilitate his return. But the Trump administration wouldn't do it. They insisted that was because he was in El Salvador. The issue was diplomatic, they said, and not something they could control. They insisted repeatedly there was no way to bring him back, that it was completely outside of their control. 29 days ago, this was the stance of Trump's Homeland Security Secretary.
There is no scenario where Abrego Garcia will be in the United States again.
Today, that changed. Today, the Trump administration did bring Abrego Garcia back, but they didn't do it to comply with the Supreme Court's orders. Today, they brought him back to the United States to criminally charge him with human trafficking. The allegations the Justice Department laid out against Abrego Garcia today are incredibly serious, but they are also just allegations. He could have done all of these things they allege. He also could be completely innocent. That is why in this country you are supposed to have due process. Before you're punished for a crime, or you are supposed to have your day in court. You are supposed to be tried and convicted if you are guilty by a jury of your peers. Kilmar Abrego Garcia was sent to prison in El Salvador without any of that. And ABC News reports tonight that the allegations Abrego Garcia was charged with today stem from an investigation that started in April, which, by the way, is the month after the Trump administration sent him to El Salvador.
This is what American justice looks like.
That was the Attorney General of the United States of America today, saying that justice in this country means getting sent to prison and then investigated, sent to a foreign prison for months and then charged with a crime. That is what the Trump administration thinks justice looks like, which tells you a whole lot. Joining me now is Chris Newman, legal director of the National Day Labor Organizing Network. He is also representing the family of Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Thank you so much for being here. I'm sure this has been a whirlwind of a day for the family. So let me just ask you first, have you spoken with Mr. Abrego Garcia? Have you been in touch with his wife and family? And how are they doing?
Well, I've spoken to Jennifer, Kilmar's wife, and, first and foremost, they're relieved just to know that Kilmar is alive. The fact is we haven't heard from him since April 17th when Senator Van Hollen was able to get proof of life when we were down there in El Salvador. We had tried to make sure that he was alive, to make sure that his health was being cared for, and also to make sure that he's able to talk to his wife and to his counsel. So we've now achieved 2 out of the 3 goals, and I think in that sense I can say that she's relieved. But there's no words to describe what she's been through these last couple of months.
No question. He now faces, and I outlined this a little bit, 2 counts of federal human smuggling charges which were filed today. The allegation being that he was involved in a conspiracy spanning 9 years during which he transported thousands of undocumented migrants from Texas to other parts of the U.S. I mean, those are incredibly serious allegations. What does the family want people to know about those allegations?
Well, we just want him to get a fair trial. Up until now, the Trump administration has been litigating this case on the Sean Hannity show on Fox News from the lectern from where you used to work with an unprecedented campaign of defamation, calling him all kinds of names. And all we've asked for was for Kilmar to be able to present his own defense of himself. And so it's clear he hasn't been getting a fair trial in the court of public opinion yet, but now he'll soon get his day in court. And just like Senator Van Hollen has said, the administration will have to put up or shut up in court. I do think it's interesting to note that the administration has called him every bad name in the book. They've called him a terrorist. They've called him a criminal mastermind, a gang member. And this is the charge that they land on, a charge that he was, investigated for when he was pulled over and released for as well. So it does appear that we're sort of in an upside down world where, they first send you to a prison with a life sentence and then bring you back for a trial. And despite what the Attorney General says about what justice looks like, she doesn't get to make that call.
No, she doesn't. I want to ask you about the timing. There's a couple of timing things here that are very questionable and concerning. One is that the investigation started, according to a report by ABC News, long after he had been sent to El Salvador. And the other is that this indictment is about 2 weeks old, as I understand it, and they just released it today. I just asked you two timing questions, but tell me what your reaction is to both of those.
Well, I'll add a third timing element, which is that the former head of the criminal division of that U.S. Attorney's Office resigned on the same day that the grand jury was impaneled, sort of implying that he wasn't willing to put his name on that.
What do you know about that, or why he resigned?
Boy, I wish we knew more. The timing is suspicious, just like these allegations, and I do think, again, it questions the credibility of the charges that were leveled against him today. The other timing point is one where this kind of thing happens on the day after Trump has a bad press day, and I know my own governor in California got in trouble for saying, that the Kilmar case was a distraction. I think what he meant to say was that Trump tries to distract from his own failures as a president by punching down and scapegoating immigrants. So to me, it's no shock that the flight back today occurs after what probably was the single worst press day of the Trump presidency. He tries to shift the attention, and then also he tries to sort of castigate and criminalize others in order to hide his own criminality.
Chris Newman, I'm so grateful you were able to join us and help us make sense of some of the news today. Thank you so much for being here.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Honestly, ladies and gentlemen, I just think that what the Trump administration, Trump regime, and the corrupt DOJ are unfortunately illegally doing is completely bullshit and completely illegal. And I hope that Pam Bondi and Donald Trump get arrested and prosecuted and tried. More so the same treatment, actually, that they illegally gave this innocent man. He was just living his life in Maryland with his kid, picking him up from his grandparents, and then he got pulled over. He was innocently living his life with his wife and kids. He worked legally under the protective order that the 2019 judge gave him. And yet, ICE, the Trump administration, the Gestapo, illegally, erroneously, unconstitutionally, and unlawfully deported him, and wrongfully. In violation of the judge's 2019 court immigration order. This is the type of thing that kept Donald Trump's orange wannabe dictator, orange tampon taco face out of prison. That you all, MAGA, so proclaim he was denied. Well, guess what? He wasn't. Because he stayed out of prison, didn't he? That is going to do it for this legal breaking reporting and video analysis update, ladies and gentlemen. If you did enjoy this legal breaking reporting and video analysis update, please firstly like, comment, share, subscribe, and enjoy. Secondly, if you want to make sure you're always up to date on all the things legal breaking reporting wise on the side of politics, please hit the bell icon as well as the all notifications option. The bell icon is located directly beneath the screen here on the right hand side of the subscribe button. Thirdly, if you guys also want to stay up to date on all the things legal breaking reporting wise on the side of politics, you guys can follow me on my social medias. That'll be linked down below. I'm on Instagram, Snapchat, Threads, as well as TikTok and Instagram. There I will be posting when I upload brand new legal breaking analysis videos to the channel and legal breaking reportings. Fourthly, ladies and gentlemen, please help me reach and achieve the goal of 170 plus subscribers. The reason why I'm saying 170 plus subscribers, ladies and gentlemen, is because right after we reach and achieve the overall channel goal of 170 plus subscribers, ladies and gentlemen, we have more subscribers to reach and achieve. Right after we reach and achieve the goal of 170 subscribers. Fifthly, ladies and gentlemen, please stay positive, please stay safe, and know that despite Donald Trump and his illegal, unconstitutional regime and administration's illegal, unconstitutional executive orders, actions, and behaviors, and always look for the points of light in today's unfortunate, illegal, induced darkness caused by the Trump administration, Trump regime. And please stay positive. Even though I know it's unfortunately hard for the majority of you to stay positive during these unfortunate, illegal, induced darkness times caused by the illegal, unconstitutional Trump administration, Trump regime, it's even hard for me at times to unfortunately stay positive during these unfortunate, illegal, induced darkness times caused by the illegal, unconstitutional Trump administration, Trump regime. And until my next legal breaking reporting and video analysis update, ladies and gentlemen, I will talk to you guys in the next legal breaking reporting and video analysis update.